All right, good morning, everyone, and a big welcome to RockVIU's Talk to Me Mental Health Q&A panel, presented by TELUS. On behalf of the Office of Co-Curricular Engagement and Learning at Vancouver Island University, we would like to start by acknowledging the traditional territory of the Sunamo, Cowichan, Tla'amin, and Sonawas First Nations, on whose land we are honored to live, laugh, love, volunteer, and play. My name is Seth Rakelma.
My name is Maria Clamott, and it is our pleasure to be your MCs for this morning. Before we begin, it's time to announce the winner of yesterday's Panago Pizza draw from the first CCR Talk session, my first year at VIU. So from our random draw, Emily Till was selected. So congratulations, Emily. So this was Emily's comment. She said, "Thank you to the presenters. My biggest takeaway from the CCR talks was to expand my horizons and attend events, even if they are out of my comfort zone. In my first year, I'm looking forward to making new friends." So thanks for the comment and congratulations, Emily. You'll be receiving a prize from CCR at VIU by the end of the week with details on how to claim your prize.
Right on. Today's Q&A panel session is all about mental health services at VIU. We are so excited to showcase the variety of ways VIU is here to support you and your mental health wellness, whether it is through our amazing counseling staff or Talk to Me program, which is a campaign to build stronger connections between peers. Before we get started, I would want to take a moment to acknowledge and thank TELUS for being the title sponsor of the Talk to Me Mental Health Q&A panel. We would not be able to do this without your support, so thank you so much. Be sure to attend their Babylon Health webinar happening on September 10th, where you can learn all about the ways to manage anxiety and stress. It will definitely be useful when you enter your first year at university. We will now stream a video from TELUS about their webinar.
Come on home, done with waiting, it's time to go. Done with letting things get in the way, like you want to get to start all over.
Awesome. Thank you so much again to TELUS for your support. So TELUS is actually giving away 4 amazing swag bags with gift cards. So be sure to attend as many events as you can throughout the week to maximize your chances of winning one, especially the Q&A sessions, because we'll be giving away one for each of our 3, as well as another one at the end of the week.
We are now excited to welcome one of our two amazing panelists. As one of our panelists, please welcome Faye Shaletsky. Faye has been a counselor at VIU since 2014. She has a master's degree in counseling psychology and has spent years working in a variety of therapeutic settings. Faye is interested in many things, particularly women's issues, identity, development, LGBTQ2S issues, anxiety, emotional regulation, relationships, communication, and overcoming trauma. Faye believes that each person has the capacity to heal themselves and that change is possible with awareness. Faye is not working. You could find her in her vegetable garden, cooking, hanging out with her dog, or reading a good book. Everyone, please show a warm welcome to Faye.
Good morning. Thank you.
Our second panelist is Jordan Davis, former student wellness promoter and Talk to Me leader. Jordan is a second-year student who is studying sciences at VIU. He hopes to work in the field of genetic research once he's completed his degree. As a student wellness promoter on campus, Jordan works to promote student mental health and well-being through events and education. When not studying or working, Jordan enjoys playing guitar, juggling, and trying new hobbies. So everybody, please give Jordan a very warm welcome.
Hi, everybody.
We're now excited to welcome our wonderful panel host, Sarah Lamar, VIU's mental health strategist. Sarah has worked at VIU since 2019. She has a master's degree in clinical social work and has spent many years working in mental health settings. Sarah is passionate about mental health promotion and helping students successfully manage the challenges of life and academics. When Sarah is not working, she loves to play soccer, hike, camp, and be in nature. Everyone, please give Sarah a warm welcome.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you all. I'm going to dive right in and share my screen here. So just give me one sec. All right. Oops, sorry, we're in the middle. Go back to the beginning here. There we go. So it's so nice to be here today with all of you. Good morning to some of you, good afternoon, good evening to some of you, wherever you're joining from. I know we have a mix of people here today. My name is Sarah Lamar and I'm VIU's mental health strategist. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm so excited to be here today to talk to you about wellness and mental health at VIU and all the different services and supports that are available for you on your journey at VIU. And so today we're going to talk about a few different things. We're going to start off with a little bit of a welcome and talk about the importance of mental health. And then we're going to have Jordan share his story of being a student and managing mental health and wellness throughout his journey at VIU. And then we're going to end off with sharing a few different resources that are available on campus. And so welcome to VIU. I know this is not necessarily the year that we had all imagined it might be, but I'm sure that you are still excited to be beginning your journey at VIU. We have students joining from all over the world today. We have some international students. We have domestic students. We have undergrad students. We have graduate students. We have some students coming straight out of high school. We have some students that are mature and coming later in life. No matter where you're coming from, no matter what the circumstances or experiences that you have had in your life, the thing that you all have in common is that you're students, and being a student can be stressful. Don't get me wrong, it's also wonderful and awesome and fun and exciting, but it can be stressful and it can be scary at times. And so that is why it is so important to think about your wellness and your mental health from the very beginning of your program. There's a lot of research now showing that mental health and wellness are key components of academic success. They're not an afterthought. They're not something that you worry about after you've completed your midterms or your exams. It's something that if you think about from the very beginning, it'll actually help you be a better student, and it'll help you have better grades as you go. And so today we're going to talk about all the different services and resources at VIU that are going to help you to make wellness a priority in your life. But first, we're going to have Jordan Davis, one of our wonderful fellow students here at VIU, share his personal journey of finding wellness and mental health as a student. And so I'm just going to stop sharing my screen here so that you can see Jordan. And so if you can find him in the list of people, if you hover over his picture, there should be 3 dots, and you can click on that and pin his video so that he stays front and center for you as he shares his story. So welcome, Jordan, and thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks, Sarah. Trying to make sure I clear everything out before I get started. Hi, everybody. I'm Jordan. I've been attending VIU for a couple of years now, and I'm currently studying a mix of biology, chemistry, and physics, in the hope that I get my bachelor's degree and maybe beyond. I'm going to preface this by clarifying that I do my best to base my mental health practices on scientific evidence that is as current as I can find. That being said, not everything I'm going to say is necessarily scientific. Some of what I'm going to say is my own personal philosophy on mental wellness and is based on my own personal experience and what has worked for me. This means most, if not all, of what I'm about to talk about is very depression-centric, but I sincerely hope that no matter what any of you are experiencing, that you will get something useful from it. So to start off, my battle for mental wellness started somewhere around 13 years old, give or take a couple years. I can't tell you precisely when I started to experience symptoms of depression, as it's not really easy to gauge your mental health from within. But I can tell you it's been at least this long from reading haphazard journal entries from around this age and onward. It wasn't until reading these journals as a full-fledged adult that I was able to get a more objective perspective on the feelings that I was having at this age, and came to the disturbing realization that I had been unwell for a very large portion of my youth. My journey to find methods and tools to handle being who I am was, and frankly still is, as haphazard as my journal keeping. A lot of stopping and starting, keeping it up for a while and falling off the wagon, sometimes for years. I've never been a very consistent person in that respect, but this doesn't mean I haven't picked up some very useful information that has ultimately made my life better. The first thing I realized I had to do probably is not going to be one of my more popular opinions, but here it goes, I guess. I realized that if I wanted to get better, I had to take responsibility for my thoughts, my feelings, and my actions. I had to stop telling myself it's okay to excuse them just because I have chronic depression. Barring serious psychotic or behavioral disorders, everyone is responsible for their thoughts, feelings, and actions. They are yours and nobody else's, and it is up to you and nobody else to deal with those. People say a lot of things about mental illness that I've found to be very misleading, and it sort of takes the onus off the person experiencing it. You may not be able to outthink depression per se, but that doesn't mean there's nothing you can do to work on it. You don't have control over your brain's default settings, I guess, in computer terms, so to speak, but never let anybody tell you that you can't help it, because they're unknowingly contributing to a dialogue that is stripping a lot of people of their power to do something about it. So what have I done on my journey to wellness, and how do I maintain while attending university? The very first step I took was counseling. I would like it to be understood that me recommending to take responsibility doesn't mean dealing with your problems alone, and it certainly doesn't mean being ashamed to ask for help when you need it. It took me a long time to finally find adequate counseling at a branch of Island Health called USTAT, which stands for Urgent Short-Term Assessment and Treatment. And that was only after a serious breakdown I had. Mind you, this was long before I went to VIU. I was super happy to receive excellent counseling in the Student Affairs building, new number 200, if I recall correctly. It's by appointment. You don't have to have chronic mental health issues to see them. The service is for everybody. They are super understanding, non-judgmental, and willing to listen to whatever issues you may be experiencing. From there, from counseling, my big go-to was diet and exercise, specifically cardio, but weight training isn't a bad thing to throw in as well. Cardio is shown to help ease symptoms of depression. It's also been linked to increased neurogenesis, which appears to be reduced in people who experience chronic depression. Personally, I found it helps keep me elevated and energetic, and also makes it easier to sleep at night, which is super important, especially while attending school. Diet, however, is a little tougher. I'd be lying if I said I didn't fall victim to the freshman 15. Fast food is incredibly appealing as a student with little to no time on their hands, but your body is inexplicably linked to your mind, and we have to give it what it needs to reduce the amount of junk we put into it. While at USTAT, I was introduced to a practice that has been tremendously helpful to me. Honestly, I do have trouble sticking to this from time to time, but I do find myself coming back to it time and time again. That is meditation. Before I lose anybody on this idea, let it be known that this is not anything close to a spiritual practice for me. Mindfulness meditation, the meditation that I use, is more of a secular form of meditation that is shown to help rewire a person's default mode network. This is a network of neural pathways in the brain that is active when a person is, I guess, daydreaming or not really paying attention to what they're doing or going on around them. A lot of people think of this as autopilot. This rewiring helps me manage my tendency to ruminate, which I've been told is a common symptom of depression, where a person's mind will sort of wander down this rabbit hole of negativity, often without realizing it. And being mindful of these, of my thoughts, helps prevent this. If this practice interests any of you, that being mindfulness meditation, ask the counseling office at VIU about it. It's offered for free on campus. This is another service that is available to everybody, not just people who are struggling with mental health issues. I've attended it myself, but there are a limited number of seats. My big hope is that the more people try to sign up, the more classes they'll offer, because I really, really believe in this practice. Also, as if I haven't mentioned student affairs enough, there's another cool thing offered on campus aimed at improving mental wellness in general. I ended up working for the school in a program called Talk to Me, as was previously mentioned. It's an initiative on campus aimed at increasing social connectivity between students, and has been an incredibly positive experience for me. We focused on creating events for students to meet new people and also promoted interaction between students on campus as a whole. Being part of the Talk to Me program made me feel not only like I was connected to other students, but that I was also contributing something positive to everybody. Trust me when I say nothing can lift your mood like helping to lift the mood of others. Lastly, I learned to see the big picture. I learned that I had to keep a general idea of where I was going in my mind, but also be open to the little things that reorient me along the way. I understand that the path you have in mind may not be what you thought or may not be the path you want altogether. I came to VIU wanting to teach high school English originally, and now I'm aiming to become a researcher in molecular genetics. In the words of John Lennon, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. But even if I'm not studying what I had originally planned, even though there are pressures that come along with school that push me, starting at VIU was probably one of the best things I have ever done for myself. I found that I now have purpose and direction, which have kept me motivated. I now know that I don't want to be the person that things happen to. I want to be the person that makes things happen. There's something empowering about discovering you're capable of upheaving your own life and making a change, even if other people think you're nuts for doing it. You quickly realize the power of your own will. You push through life instead of being pushed around by life. There's this virtually unlimited potential in every single one of us. We're human beings, and we're attending an institution that gives us the knowledge and power to broaden both our minds and our options, not just for jobs, but for everything. The world becomes our playground when we do this. The more we learn, the more we can play with. So, allons-y, let's start playing. Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan. Big round of applause for Jordan. Jazz hands. Thank you so much for sharing, Jordan. I've heard you share your story a few times now, and it always is very inspiring to me how courageously and warm you are in sharing this very personal story. So thank you so much. And I saw a few comments there in the box, and unfortunately, sorry, we had some tech issues in there. So I know that I think a lot of us weren't able to see Jordan's face, but here's his face. For those of you who weren't able to see it, I think everyone was able to hear him, which was wonderful. And so building off of what Jordan has shared, I think no matter where you are in your mental health and wellness journey, whether you have a mental health illness diagnosis or you are feeling that you are at your peak of your health, there's always things we can do to help ourselves stay well or get well. And I really appreciate Jordan sharing some of the things that help him to stay well. And I think that segues really nicely into our next page here, which is to talk about one resource that VIU has to help students be well. So this is a new online resource called Thrive, which is a collection of events, activities, and resources to help you stay well. And it's built off of the concept of dimensions of wellness. And so Jordan spoke to this in his story about how there are a number of different things that help him to stay well. There isn't, if we focus just on one thing, we're going to lose our mental health and our wellness. If we only focus on academics, we start to lose the bigger picture. But if we look at these different dimensions of wellness and do things that help us to feel well, and it's going to be different for each one of you, it can help you to stay well throughout your degree, even through those stressful moments of midterms and exams and papers and all that fun stuff. And so Jordan talked about things like getting connected, just like Blake Fly talked about on Monday, for those of you that were there. That might be your social and cultural wellness. Jordan talked about eating well and staying active. That might be your physical wellness. He also talked about counseling and mindfulness. That might be your emotional wellness, or maybe for some, that might be your spiritual wellness. And so there's no one recipe that fits for everyone. But what this website and what this concept of the dimensions of wellness is meant to help you to find that journey for yourself. And so I really encourage you to check out this website and check out all the different events and activities and resources that are available on it to help you stay well right from day one of your program. We don't have time today to go through it all, but one aspect that I wanted to highlight was something called the Thrive CCR credit. And so this is something that VIU is trying out this year to help encourage you to make wellness a priority in your life. And so for those of you who don't know what CCR stands for, it stands for Co-Curricular Record, which is basically your non-academic transcript. And so what that means is that you can get credit for all the things that you do, all the learning that you do outside of the classroom. So this might be the internship that you're a part of. It might be the lab position that you're doing with your prof. Whatever it might be, the CCR is the place where you can record it, get a transcript for it, and then later share it with future employers or grad schools or whoever you want to share it with. And so the Thrive CCR credit is VIU's way of giving you credit for making wellness a priority in your life. And so all the details, you can check them out on our website to get more information on what the requirements are. It's also available in the CCR app. If you go to the Pathways function and look at this Thrive CCR credit, it's all in there. And so a lot of the things that you're going to be participating in throughout the semester through the CCR app will count towards your wellness CCR credit. So I really encourage you all to check it out and get credit and help prioritize wellness in your lives. And so now I'm going to invite Jordan back to chat a little bit about Talk to Me. He mentioned it in his story already, but tell you a little bit more about what the Talk to Me program is and how you can get involved.
Okay. So the Talk to Me program, we sort of, some of you, unless you're new to campus, you may have seen us in the cafeteria. That's where we've been a lot of the time. First things first, you'll probably see this badge, this icon that says Talk to Me. It's the blue circle. We hand out these buttons as a kind of icebreaker on campus. People, if somebody's wearing the button, they are advertising that they are an okay person to talk to. They're safe to talk to. They're not going to slough you off. They're not going to say, hey, I don't want to, they're not going to push you away or anything. It's kind of a way to make people feel comfortable in approaching somebody else on campus, especially if you need help or you're looking for something, you know that somebody wearing this button is going to be okay to talk to. So basically the program is all about increasing connection on campus. It's about breaking down these barriers and getting people more comfortable talking to each other, because I believe, Sarah, if I recall correctly, it was 2/3 of campus were feeling isolated or lonely.
Yeah, you got it, Jordan.
Yeah, so this is our kind of way of combating that and making the campus a more welcoming place, making it somewhere where somebody doesn't have to feel lonely. They can talk to other people, making the campus more warm.